to sponsor Senate Bill number 29383 under Committee Report 284 with the permission of the Chairman of the Environment Committee, Senator Escudero. This was a bill which I filed in 1998, Mr. President, which I hope could pass before we adjourn in January. And Senator Serge Osmeña also signified his intention, and I make him a co-author and co-sponsor as a measure, as well as a chair of the Agriculture Committee, Senator Cynthia Villar. And Senator Cynthia Villar also wishes to co-author and co-sponsor this measure. Congress has a duty to pass legislation as part of its duty under Article 12, Section 12 of the Constitution. And I quote, "Congress shall, as soon as possible, determine by law the specific limits of forest lands and national parks, making clearly their boundaries on the ground. Thereafter, such forest lands and national parks shall be conserved and may not be increased or diminished except by law." I wish to note that despite the absence of a law, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources has completed the delineation of the specific limits of forest lands based on Presidential Decree 705. Boundaries between permanent forests and alienable and disposable lands have been clearly marked and maintained on the ground. We have demarcated and properly identified forest lands. The national government can better plan the utilization of the natural resources of the country, and local government units will be better equipped to initiate and implement development projects and programs with due regard to the preservation and protection of the integrity of the demarcated forest lands. Mr. President, please allow me to set out the following reasons for the need to immediately pass this bill. The Forest Limits Act aims to achieve, among others, a defined forest land boundary which is expected to resolve conflict among the competing uses of forest lands, agricultural lands, and natural parks. Security of tenure through issuance of land titles to upland dwellers or actual tillers of forest lands, released or agricultural lands. Enhancement, development, administration, supervision, and protection of forest lands. Improvement of revenue collection from forest lands through the issuance of appropriate tenurial instruments and agricultural lands through collection of realty taxes. Private-public partnership in forest development. Decrease in forest degradation caused by illegal occupancy, fake and illegal titling, unlawful land use conversion, and timber poaching. Accurate information on forest limits that will help in the decision-making and planning process of proper land use in crafting a cohesive roadmap to national development. And defined forest land boundary which can be used as reference in the preparation of comprehensive land use plan or the CLUP by the LGUs as required under RA 7160 or the Local Government Code of 1991. This measure aims to achieve these targets by identifying what constitutes the forest lands, providing guidelines in determining the specific limits of forest lands, creating the National Review and Evaluation Committee, adopting an evaluation system, creating an adjudication board, and creating a congressional oversight committee to oversee the implementation of the law. It is worth stressing that the delineation of the permanent forest line is key to the establishment and implementation of a sustainable development plan for the country's forest resources. Let this measure be our lasting contribution to our children, our grandchildren, and the generations to come. On this note, I call on our colleagues in this August chamber for your support to this very important measure which operationalizes by law a major constitutional provision. Thank you, Mr. President.